And welcome everybody. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about Jacobo Grinberg. I remember that name 30 years ago when I was in school, and just the other day I read it. A fan of mine named Max had posted it on there, and immediately had taken me back, and I started thinking, what did happen to him? Did we ever find out? I know that a lot of people were saying the government might have taken him, or he disappeared or something, so I did a super deep dive, and if you're interested, without any further ado, let's get started. This is Jacobo Grinberg Zylberbaum. He was born in Mexico City in 1946. He wrote over 50 books about brain activity, witchcraft, shamanism, telepathy, and meditation. He's mentioned in a few CIA papers, which I'm going to discuss. He also went missing at age 48, and we'll discuss that. This man was a brilliant man. In fact, he received his PhD at the E. Roy John Laboratory. He got his doctoral research focused on the electrophysiological effects of geometric stimuli on the human brain. What he liked to use was called Faraday cages. These are electromagnetic shielded cages. He'd put one person in one and one in another to block out communication signals and just try to use telepathy to try to communicate with each other. The other thing that he's really famous for is he founded the National Institute of Consciousness in Mexico, and that's kind of huge. So why was the government and the CIA so interested in him? Well, it had a lot to do with the theory of his called Syntergic theory. And that basically postulates that the brain creates these energetic fields, the neuronal field he called it, that expands into space, interacts with space-matter continuum, and is able to change the informational content of the latter, and thus affect other neuronal fields and physical forces. Under consideration as a possibility for what we call conscious theory. And the government definitely was interested in the consciousness at that time. They were interested in things like telepathy, telekinesis, for military applications, for defense applications. So he was definitely looked into. In fact, I found 3 specific CIA documents, CIA document number CIA-RDP 96-00792 R0007001300002-5. That's just one of the documents he's mentioned in. That's psychophysiological correlates of communication on gravitational and unity, the Syntergic theory. So the other 2 CIA documents, they basically state some of the same stuff. But what I did find fascinating is they got their hands on a lot of his unpublished work. These were manuscripts, these were things at conferences, but these weren't in any formal journals or anything like that. As a scientist in the scientific community, he wasn't very well received. One of the main reasons for that is his use of the scientific method with shamanism. He consistently tried to put those 2 together and find that magic world, which really didn't resonate well with his contemporaries at the time. And I could do a deeper dive into his work, his theories, some of his studies. And if you want to see that, please comment down below. Hit that like, hit that subscribe if I've earned it today. So the last thing that I'm going to leave you guys with is a little bit about his disappearance, at least everything that I've found. He was expected in 1996 on May 12th at his family's residence for a birthday party for his 48th birthday, and he never made it there. He was known to take flights, vacations on a whim, but unfortunately his passport was found at home. There was also a bit of theory that maybe he was grabbed by the government or silenced by the government, but I really couldn't find anything about that. In fact, everything I found, they really couldn't use his work. It wasn't repeatable. It wasn't I don't think they got much out of it. The biggest theory that we found is that he went missing in Mexico City. He was a wealthy man. It more than likely got robbed. They ditched his body somewhere. The last theory about his disappearance, and it's the one that I think I'm the biggest subscriber to, is that he actually staged his own disappearance so he could go and live in peace and and do more research and not get bothered by the Mexican government, by the American government, by just people hounding him about this or that, asking him questions. It's really hard to like continue doing this type of research, going deeper, when you're constantly going to lectures, regurgitating the old stuff. But that's my theory on it. I hope that he's somewhere doing his massive research and comes out with a big book in 2026. And thank you guys for joining on this episode. If you made it this far, if you did and I earned it, please hit that like and subscribe. I will continue making more videos. If you have any questions, whether it's about Jacobo or me or the channel, please put them down below. I'll be glad to answer. I answer every question personally. Whether you speak English or Spanish, it does not matter. If you only speak Spanish, just type the Spanish. I will translate it, no problem. Thank you guys. Have a wonderful evening. This is the behind the scenes. If you are interested about this video making process, these are almost all the pictures that I have of Jacobo that I could get my hands on. He died at such an early age. He really wasn't so much in the formal scientific journal community. He wasn't followed that well. He did a lot of lectures in Mexico, and he had books. But these were all the pictures that I could find, and only through deep dive AI were they able to pull out the CIA files. They were able to pull out all this information about him. So yeah, this was very interesting. And in fact, my computer went down, the AI went down when I was searching him, and I thought the government was on to me for a second. I really did. I was like, oh. It was after I was like deep diving into my third CIA document, and it was like, it's declassified. I was like, all right, if it's declassified, you can show it to me. So that was it. That's all I wanted to add about making this video. Nope, they haven't got me yet. Not as of 10/4/2025.